waiting because in another hour or two, when we let all the rest of the people in, it is going to be a crazy, amazing, inspirational Saturday night, don't you think? So, let me explain a little bit about what we do here in the pre-show. We're going to do a walking tour where we're going to show you what the artists of Cypher and all the different composers and dancers and sculptors and costumers are doing, and give you an inside look on each of the different rooms and tell you a little bit about the story and the background on why we're doing it and where it came from. Is everyone okay with that? Yeah! Excellent. And tonight we're going to start here in a room we call Anhavia. This is the border between the realms of fairy and the realms of Cypher. If you can imagine the realms of fairy, every fairy tale you've ever heard, you know, where somebody trades the color of your eyes for your voice or your true love, but takes that voice and puts it into another tone so they won't recognize you. Fairies are very tricky and they tend to make very interesting deals. So be very careful what contracts you sign with them. And this particular year is ending our 3-year story arc called the Midsummer Night's Dream story arc, where Fairy begins to invade and sort of add a little bit of mischief to the realms of Cypher and to the Labyrinth itself. And what I'd like to do is sort of show you on our borders. We're going to take a little flashback about what happened 3 years ago with one of our older characters. Shall we bring that story? And as you come in, you see things that are going on in stages, and you hear the different pieces that we're telling. You only get a snippet of that story that has been continuing linearly every year, every night for 16 years. The very first one that we did dealt with a shaman who took a young child and showed her all the magnificent realms of the fantasy worlds, where he would take her to see the mermaids. He took her to see Oberon and Titania. At that point, we had these stilt walkers that were doing it. It was a lot of fun. And he took her on this journey so that you could see this wild and untamed world. 16 years ago, there were only 5 or 6 of us on stage. There was only about 10 of us making the show. And we were having a lot of fun, but it was very humble beginnings, you know. So we're bringing back our Goblin Shaman to go into our next 3-year story arc that we're starting to write, which is called the Shaman Cycle. And it's going to be very colorful, very magical, and we hope to have a lot of surprises and a lot of interesting twistings of mythology and such. But for the last 3 years, as we've been in the Midsummer ranks, we're going to get a little bit of a flashback that no other patron is going to see on what happened in the realms of fairy, where we had a sleeping Oberon and a sleeping Titania and a shaman who's been wandering around outside of his realm for a little too long. Would you like to see? Running around our realm, trying to get allies and other fairies to help him because he thinks if Oberon isn't here, wouldn't it be great if I was king? That's the best way. So as we're going through the realms, you'll see the kind of mischief that Puck has been making with us, not knowing that his lord is actually on a Las Vegas holiday in the same realm. That being said, please meet Clinton Kiles, one of our directors of choreography.
Pay no attention to the secret plan.
Well, it looks like we finally snuck up on old Puck, doesn't it? These are the fairies that have been wandering around infesting the realms a bit. His troops, his loyal minions, the way he's going to take power from Oberon. These bubbling sprites that never sleep and are never caught unawares. That sounds like a familiar laugh.
Never heard it before in my life.
They know what pieces they're playing, and they know how they interact with other parts of the story, so that you can see the details behind all the corners, behind all the pieces, behind all the places. I've always believed that stories are not just told by saying there was a forest and there was a fairy and there was some sword waiting a rock. It was that when you were in there, you believed that you're touching the moss, that you believe that around a corner there's other things waiting for you. And that's what makes these stories real. That being said, would you guys like to see one of our acts? And one of the things from our last pre-show we were told was that you guys see acts on the stage all the time, but you can't possibly see all the stages all the time and put all the stories together. In the pre-show, people said, well, it'd be great if you guys would do one of those performances just for, you know, a few hundred of us. So I thought we would let you see one. Please give it up to the fairies and to Buck and his troops as they celebrate their coming together. long in our story has been the Goblin Engineer. Once upon a time, goblins were crazier, a little bit more, shall I say, freewheeling creatures like you're used to. It's not that they were evil, but if they saw a bad idea, they'd do it once or twice just to be sure. And over the last several years, they've been evolving, starting to have visions of clockwork wonders and all kinds of strange steam contraptions. If you like hot water in your bathroom, it's because of this guy right here. And it normally works, but sometimes the dragons get tired, so, you know, beware. Again, the goblins are a lot of fun. This is also one of the coolest rooms in the house. So if you ever need to cool down, the air conditioning is extra cool to keep the goblins from getting too crazy.
We put all of it in here. Come join us.
Yeah. Now that being said, also down here is our Merchant's Row. Are you ready to go downstairs, see the Royal Promenade in the throne room? Check out what they're doing and ask. All throughout the realm there are going to be different games and hidden puzzles and little snippets of the story. They can give you a inside view to be a part of it. That being said, shall we go into the throne room and see what's happening? Let's do that.
You saw in the very beginning of the promenade is where we have the Royal Promenade, where we have our fortune tellers, our wizards who are trying to explore the realms of magic within our kingdom. We also have our post office where you can play various games and see what's going on. Also be a part of the stories, small part. Please make sure the letters get to the characters. Those are super important. If you steal them and read them, then you'll know what the characters know, and I mean, what fun is that? It's like reading the back of the book. You look like someone that starts the books in the back. Direction, you need to be protected from the goblins. A day two. Borderwalls, I hear some of them do that. The Cypher Knights are some of the boldest, some of the bravest, and some of the most intriguing characters in the realms. They're also the ones that do a lot of work throughout the night, so please tell them how thankful you are that they're there, because they are doing a lot of things behind the scenes to keep our realm running. And they are all volunteer, just like all the rest of the artists here. And tonight we're going to be able to see something special, and that's a couple of new Cypher Knights being created.
Take 2 steps forward, please. My lord, here are the 4 candidates that have passed the test.
Well, I know you've all already stood the watch, protected our... I know you've already stood the watch. You've protected our realms, protected our people. Kept them safe from dragons, fairies, and all kinds of crazy things, as well as one too many drinks in the middle of the night. Thank you for that. So, be bold, be brave, be kind. And thank you for your service.
Master of Arms, please present the chains and the history.
These chains were forged by a great wizard of divine prerogative. After the fact, we forged as a symbol of eternal protection for the knights. Wear the chains proudly and serve well.
As you wear these chains, remember the weight that we have charged to us this day. Not only to protect ourselves and our brothers, but the realm and those that you see witnessing this moment. Look around you and see those that you will be protecting. Do you all still wish to move forward with this knighting? Are you sure? Is that your last answer?
As you wear these chains, know also that they are magic chains and show our appreciation. And knight you. Sir, Madam, Tina.
We're sorry, folks. Our commander had one too many drinks this morning.
He had dinner the rest of the night to prepare for you guys, so please give him a little
This is a really rough training party.
I knight you, Morgan. I knight you, Tina. I knight you, Robin.
time we raise our glass and we have a little bit of a toast to open the gates. Do you want to open the gates, or shall we just keep it for ourselves? All right, show of hands then, or show of glasses. How many say that we should open the gates, let everyone in right now? Good.
15 minutes.
How about 15 minutes? All right, how many people say we should keep them waiting 15 minutes?
Fashionably late.
That's wow, they are. You guys must have been talking to Oberon a little bit, because he thinks the same thing. Well, unfortunately, we're going to try to run on time this time. I know. But we have a lot of friends outside. We have a lot of entertainments that will not begin until we do open those gates. We have a lot of artists and other people waiting to see your smiling faces as well. So, if you'll lift your glasses, why don't we go ahead and let our friends in.
Yeah.
Thank you all for another year of inspiration, for another year of your attendance and of putting so much effort into these costumes and dreaming with us tonight. And may you come back many, many times, and may we always find a home for you here. Thank you. Thank you.